Welcome back to another vlog, guys. Today I have two 650s with me, and you would be wondering why the Cafe Racer, that is a Continental GT, is not with us. Because these two right here almost shares the same abilities. So that's why we have bought this into the comparison. And when it comes to touring, these two bikes will be the one which you will be preferring instead of the Cafe Racer. So let's get going. Before going into the details of the video, do subscribe to Torque and Throttle and hit the bell icon to stay notified each and every time we make an upload. So firstly, talking about the looks, both of them share a retro look which has been the gene of Royal Enfield till date. But when it comes to the Super Meteor 650, look wise it might be a bigger sibling of the Meteor 350. But then, nah, it is not something near to Meteor 350, it's a different story. Talking about the looks, you have that same teardrop tank. Okay, the capacity is around 15.4 liters. Coming down, you can see this. There is no chrome finishes on the engine. It's a complete, the powder polish one on the caps. But when it comes to the long silencers, it's completely chrome again. Now, talking about the color options, there are 7 color options divided into the 3 variants. So this is basically the interstellar option with this, with the olive green color. And then looks, as I told you, get alloy wheels. And this engine thing, it's not like the Interceptor. You have part of powder coating, which is easier to maintain when it comes to rainy season. And then the bike is pretty much wide. It's not like the Meteor 350. It is wide enough and long enough, and the wheelbase is also much longer. Now the graphics differ from variant to variant. In Interstellar you can see this dual tone finish, and when it comes to celestial option, again you have a dual tone finish. So that's all when it comes to the look of this Super Meteor 350. And one more thing is the badging. You'll be getting a 3D badging on the Super Meteor 650. Talking about the design and styling of the Interceptor 650, you can see a lot of chrome on the bike, which includes the engine bay and the silencer. So it has a majority of chrome, but the newer version has an addition, a variant. A variant basically has full powder coating, including the silencer. I think that would be much easier to maintain compared to this. And now talking about color options, the Interceptor 2 has 7 color options, but the color you see right here has been removed from the latest list. So the looks, that has a complete cruiser kind of look, and this is much more like a nimble and agile bike. The looks tells that all. And talking about design, you have dual tone colors, you have the single tone colors, and you have a chrome color too. And this thing, you will be having a badging of Interceptor 650 right here, and when it comes to the Continental GT, the same thing. So that's all when talking about the looks. Feature wise, the new Interceptor, the latest one, is almost near to the Super Meteor. You will be getting the LED lamps, you will be having a new set of switch gears. Yeah, and this, as I told, a complete powder coated engine option. So feature wise, these two are almost the same. Now let's get into the ergonomics of both these bikes. The ergonomics: seat height 740 on the Super Meteor 650. But then comfort wise, yeah, it's a cruiser. This feels much better and very comfortable when it goes on a long ride. And talking about the handlebar, you'll be sitting pretty straight, and the footrest, it's laid ahead so that it increases the comfort on a cruise. So that's how the ergonomics works. And now talking about the ground clearness, this is pretty low. It's around 130 or 135 It's going to be little hard riding in Indian roads, especially when it comes to potholes. And if you have someone behind you, even humps are going to become a nightmare soon. Now coming to the ergonomics of the 650, foot peg position is pretty much neutral, and this handlebar, to an extent it feels a bit sportier because you are being laid ahead with the tank, but not as bad as you see in the Cafe Racer. It's still better and comfortable. People use handlebar risers to make it much taller like the classic 350 and to increase the comfort. So the ergonomics, as I told, that is very much cruiser like, and it is for people who want to enjoy their day a lot. But in this bike, especially in the Interceptor, the seat, you'll have to change the seat if you're buying. This seat is much more like a bench. It's not at all soft. After an hour, I think you're gonna become tired, and it's a big discomfort when it comes to the seat. But you can go for the touring seat, which is an option from Royal Enfield itself. Ride, handling, and performance. So talking about performance, These both are the very same engine, just that they differ in the engine sound. I'll be adding the clips of engine sound right away. Just take a look at that. Engine, the same 52 Nm which is seen in Interceptor, the same thing here also. And power, 47.4 PS of power. But then there will be a difference in 0 to 100 timing, cause there is a difference of 40 kilos compared to that one right there. That's 202 kilos and this is 241 kilos right here. And now handling. This bike has a much more stiffer setup compared to that one. But that doesn't mean that it's a soft or cushioned one. That too is stiff, but not as much as this. Why stiff? In the sense, this bike has to cruise at higher speeds when it comes to highway or long rides. So a small stone or a light obstacle is not going to throw away the bike. It maintains the stiffness and the performance at high speeds will be great. But then, bad roads might be a nightmare when it comes to the Super Meteor. And now, how can you take on the corners? When it comes to corners, if you just get used to the way the bike is, this thing is very pleasant when it comes to corners. And this thing right here, it's very nimble. You will be having a kind of sporty feel when it comes to corners. So that's how the bikes differ. Both are good enough for a ride. And now city usage, this thing is a bit hard because the rake angle, the handlebars, and the way the bike is built, this thing is a bit tougher on the city compared to that one. As I told, this is more nimble, it's easier in city, and the weight difference too tells about the same, 40 kilos difference. So that's how it works. Suspension setup, as I told, in that one too, the rear bottoms out very soon when it comes to big potholes. I have been using this bike from the past 4,000 kilometers, and the same thing with this. But then this, as I told, it has a much stiffer setup. So you can expect both the bikes to bottom out at the same range. High speed stability is good, but then lower speeds, yeah, it's going to be a bit of trouble. Feature difference, there is nothing much except for the fact that this meter has much more data compared to the one in that. That is pretty plain, but in this you will have the gear indicator, and with that you will be getting the stripper navigator too, which still hasn't been added to the Interceptor 650 till date. So that's all the feature difference. And yeah, as I told, the main difference in these two bikes are this gets an upside down fork and that gets a telescopic fork. And now pricing. If you ask me about the pricing, that one ex showroom is around 3.02 lakhs and it goes all the way till 3,32,000 for the top end, the chrome wala one. And for this, it starts from 3.54 and goes till 3.84. I guess, I'm not sure about it. Three variants: Astral, Interstellar, and Celestial. Celestial is the top end one with the windshield, seat rest, and the dual tone color options. Which one should you go for? It depends completely on your usage and the way you want your bike to be. Talking about the Super Meteor 650, this is 40,000 more than this bike. And with that, what you get is a very good cruising experience. And in our Indian roads, this ground clearness and the way this bike is, you know, it's going to be a bit hard if you are a person who is considering this for your daily use. But when it comes to highway cruising or long rides or weekend getaways, this is going to be a good one. And if you're a person who wants a bike for daily usage as well as a sportier feel and even to get away on rides on such things, this would be a much better option. It completely depends on you and what kind of bike you like. It depends on your taste. And as I told, there's a 40,000 price gap between these two bikes right here. So if you I hope you all like the video. Thank you so much for watching. Do subscribe to Torque and Throttle. Thank you guys. So special thanks and mention for Electronic City Motors for lending us their bike, the Super Meteor especially, for the today's video. A big thanks, and you can inquire any details regarding the bike from the details I have put down in the description box. Do check that out.